Hey guys, how's it going? John Megacycle here, taking a look at a new game called AirMech. When I say new, I kind of mean new to me. This game has been in an open alpha, open beta status for the last year or so. This is a real-time strategy game that's kind of geared off of League of Legends. Right now, we're just kind of watching some of the ads for the game. It is completely free to play. You can log on to Steam and download it. It is called AirMech, right up here at the top if you need the spelling properly. It's completely free to play, like I mentioned. The only time you'd have to pay money is if you actually wanted to get a lot of the cool perks, benefits, and features. For example, here's a steampunk paladin skin. Ugh, I can talk. They've got their own money system with diamonds, so you pay cash for diamonds and then you spend diamonds in the game. However, you can still play this air mech. This is actually called an air mech. Try to think of it like a part plane, part mech, really. The best way to describe it is if you've ever played Red Alert 3, think of the Jet Tengu for the Empire of the Rising Sun. It's exactly like that. These are machines that are part humanoid robot, part air vehicle of some sort. With the League of Legends playstyle, if you're familiar with that, it's a very fast-paced game. I'm just going to go through and give you a bit of an introduction on single-player game mode. It's just going to be me versus an AI. Just quick playthrough. This game does come with a tutorial. This game does walk you through a lot of the core key concepts of the game on how to play, how to strategize, how to succeed, and how to win. That all having been said, I'm going to keep this kind of light. We're just going to go ahead and jump through. But first, for those that have played this before, we're going to go through my loadout. I haven't been playing for very long, so what I did is I purchased the classic Striker mech. There are 8 mechs: the Striker, the Helix, the Bomber, the Warthog, the UFO Saucer, the Osprey, the Neo, which is kind of a new age fighter, and the Paladin, which is a Chinook. Really, it's modeled off of that Chinook-styled helicopter. So, I've got the classic Striker, and here is the robot form. I've also got some equipment, and no really pets or cosmetics or anything flashy. So we're just going to go ahead and take a look at the rest of the loadout here. I've got a medic, some soldiers, a light vehicle, a medium tank, a heavy tank, a moneymaker, which generates credits throughout the game, a T-45, which is a kind of a turret, and a blaster guardian. If you've ever played Gradius, it's a side shooting airplane game. You do get these. These are referred to as options in that game. So you can kind of think of like that. It's a little satellite that hovers my robot, and this particular Guardian deals extra damage. So this is my loadout. These are the units I'm going to use in this game, and I do have a pilot of Ash. He provides benefits and some negatives to the way the game is played. So without going into very much detail, this game also has a shop with a bit of a player market. You can go through and purchase parts, units, air mechs, items, cosmetics, that sort of a thing. There's, like I said, tutorials. There's step-by-step facts and everything to get you started at AirMech. You can watch other players. You can participate in ladder matches, the whole 9 yards. So there's a lot with this game, especially considering it's free. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Really quick before we do, though, the match has a fortress. Each side has its own fortress, so a red team and a blue team. Each side has its own base. When that base is destroyed, you lose. You go out and you capture additional territories. Oh, actually, we will get started. You capture out additional territories. If you check on this mini-map here, we've got a smaller base down here. Oh, I can't fly that way because we're still warming up for game start. You capture outlying territories or bases, and they produce extra minions for you, or they might be called drones, or each game calls it differently. I think actually in this game they're called creeps. Creep spawns, yeah, they're little soldiers that walk around and capture stuff for you. So we had a 45-second time to build up our base, which we did. And as you can see, there's creeps walking out right now. They're going to go ahead and capture the closest base they'll be able to find. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to lead the charge with some tanks. The AirMech is capable of picking up allied units, transporting them, giving them orders, instructions on what to do. I'm giving these guys all the capture option. They're going to move to the closest uncaptured base, and they're going to attempt to take it over. or at least guard it so I can take it over. Now, each of these bases, the one we're hovering over right now, will produce creeps. I believe this one will, or will at least aid in our production time. These pads give whatever you put on them beneficial abilities. For example, I have a turret. I'm just going to thunk that right there. It's going to give it a little more oomph. Pretty simple stuff so far, even though I'm hitting you with a lot of knowledge. This game is also kind of akin to Metal Fatigue, if you're familiar with that one. That was an old strategy game that worked a lot with mechs and the like. You had to build your own mech out of parts and stuff, and you dealt with mech combat. You built you built units and stuff to go attack with, and this kind of has the same feel also of Z. If anyone remembers that game, let me know, because that was a heck of a game. Point click strategy game, capturing territories. The more territories you owned, the better your army produced. And look at that, we've already taken this almost over. We're going to go ahead and move some of our allied forces over here. So the game is kind of a two-part. Not only am I flying around, moving around units, but since I showed you before as a robot mode, you can switch into a robot form and deal damage this way directly to the ground. So you've got a lot of roles being an AirMech. You're not only dealing with the strategy portion of it, making sure your troops get to where they've got to go to do what they've got to do, you're also making sure that you're dealing enough damage to the enemy to keep pushing them back. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a little cleanup here as robot form. The robot form, is very powerful, but it takes a little time for it to level up and get ready to be prepared for actual combat. Let's see, what else is it compared to? So I said League of Legends. Warcraft 3 would be another good example. There's a lot of neutral bases around. You clear out the neutral bases. Your hero in Warcraft 3 gains experience points, levels up new abilities. Same thing here with the AirMech. The very top is the experience bar, and as you level up, you get new abilities, new traits, new weapons, that sort of a thing. So, oh man, I'm going through a lot explaining the game, so I apologize if I'm going a little quick. But there's a lot of core concepts to catch up on. There's money in the top, energy at the bottom. These are the things that govern your unit production. Right now I'm just capturing these areas, trying to get them hunkered down, get this all solidified, and then we're going to start concentrating on attacking the enemy. Or you could simply go through and try to capture more territories or structures, I should say. Now, what do the structures do for you directly? Well, up at the top here, you see it says Power Station. Every power station you control lets your team recharge 20% faster. The recharging is when I'm above an allied structure, I'm actually regaining my energy and weaponry and stats like that. And then, of course, it's a factory. Every factory you control lets your team build 20% faster. I overshot that like crazy. And upgrading. Now you see this little plus here, just like most games. The plus means an upgrade. We're going to go and upgrade our creep ability, make them spawn a little bit quicker. Experience points are gained when you deal combat damage, when you fly in reinforcements, when you attack. There's a lot of things that can govern your experience points. So it's important to make sure that you level up as well. So I like to get into the combat a little bit here. I actually just flanked this guy, going to take out this building. Get it out of the enemy's control, take care of this medic that's healing this tank, then take care of this tank. These structures, now it's neutral, they take 4 infantry to take over. If you notice these pylons, there's 4 blue pylons right here. This means this is fully under my control. The one over here that we just attacked had 4 red pylons, meaning it was under enemy control. So now that we have this controlled, and we do, now they're all blue, we're going to get some defensive structures here. Make sure that if the enemy comes in, give them a fight for it. I believe it was General Patton that said never fight for the same ground twice, and that's a policy I totally believe in. So since this is an enemy, I'm kind of working it from one angle, if you haven't noticed. If this were a human, I could easily just get flanked as well. But I certainly don't mind considering dealing with an AI I've kind of got figured out. So that's captured and maintained. That's up for debate. This one's under enemy control as well. Let's help our soldier buddies out. One thing I really like about this game, not only is it free to play, the controls are crystal. There's not a lot of screwing up. It's literally point and click. There's maybe 2 or 3 other controls required, and that's about it. I believe this is also designed for some consoles. I think maybe Xbox. I could be wrong. But, oh, let's get back in the air. Get our soldiers. It could be also designed for Xbox. Oh, we already have it. Wonderful. So the controls have to be simple. And by simple, I don't mean dumb. By simple, I mean it has to be easy for the player to switch between modes, switch between combat, and carrying your units from place to place. It has to be quick moving, but it has to be easy to control. I used to play Command & Conquer Red Alert on the original PlayStation, and the controls were there, but it was tough to do anything quickly. It was, I want to say, inefficient. It was inefficient to do things quickly at all, which made the game complicated. And it wasn't a fun kind of complication. It was like an implied stupid level of complication. Like, you could have a game that's complicated, meaning there's a lot of resources, there's a lot of things to concern yourself with, there's a lot of things you have to take care of. Okay, that's one level of complication. However, if the controls suck and the controls aren't easy to deal with, then it's a level of complication that's almost unnecessary. It's not fun to play the game, it's not understanding, and the controls are not forgiving. Then the game's boring. The game's boring without even being boring. But the game controls are pretty solid, like I said. Yeah, this is going to be probably a quick match here. So you get experience points again for especially destroying the enemy AirMech. So I'm just going to go through here, clean out some defenses, let the tanks do the work against their fortress, and we're just going to go ahead and let that thing get blown to crap. Jeez. I'm about to win, and I got blowed up. I was kind of using hotkeys throughout this build menu here. This is that loadout that I showed you earlier. These are the things that I can create. And if you use the number pad, you can quickly cycle through them, which is kind of how I've been building fairly quickly while I'm on the fly even. I'm still producing turrets and tanks and stuff. We're going to go ahead and be a real jerk face, or as I like to call Operation Thorn in his side. The tanks generally do more damage against the fortress than your AirMech. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that we get a couple of tanks stationed right out front, really just start swarming everything. And soon, yep, we're going to build one of the big tanks, assuming this base lasts long enough. Oh, we're going to just stay right over here. And look at that, victory. Not too bad. The game is very quick-paced. And then, of course, when you're done winning, what you can do is you can go through and destroy everything else anyhow. Everything on their side has a reduced hit point. I have insanely increased hit points. My attack goes through the roof, just if you want to go through and blow everything up. So, not too bad. Let's take a look at our spoils. Every time you win a match, and even if you lose matches, you'll get experience points, and you'll get the currency of the game known as kudos. Kudos are spent in the store, and we're just going to go through and back to the shop real quick. You use kudos to purchase units, AirMechs, like I mentioned before. These are all in-game monies, so if you save up, you can purchase anything you want with kudos. Or, like I said, you can pay in some money, get some diamonds, and then use diamonds to get some of the more advanced stuff. Of course, some of the other things, the premier items, or I believe these are called ultimates. Ultimates, yeah, ultimate items, those are diamond only, and that's so that way the developers can get some cash for their hard work. Nothing wrong with that. But considering it's free to play, there's a lot of units here, there's a lot of options. It's almost like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any of those card games where anyone could have a similar amount of cards or a similar kind of cards, but you could go against 2 different decks, no problem. So this is a game I really like. It's all the way up to 3 versus 3 play. You could do co-op with a friend or just against the AI to get you some experience points. I highly recommend it, guys. For no monies, it's certainly worth your time and energy. Hope to do a few more videos on this. Then yeah, here's the tutorial I was mentioning, 15 levels to get you started. So yeah, I don't think I have much else to say here. Thanks for watching. I'll hope to get a couple of guys together and see if we can get a match or two going. But aside from that, I think I will see you guys later.